भुवनेश्वर महाकाशचारी शुभांशु शुक्ला एक घरोई स्कूल वार्षिक विज्ञान प्रजुक्ति विद्या मेल जोग देइछन्ति। छोट छोट पिलांक मेल समय काटिछन्ति महाकाशचारी शुभांशु। छात्र छात्री को महाकाश यात्रार सफल कहानी से विस्तृत भावे वर्णना करिछन्ति। एही कार्यक्रम में भुवनेश्वर अंतर्गत सरकारी और बेसरकारी विद्यालयर शताधिक छात्र छात्री जोग देइछन्ति। एही कार्यक्रम में मुख्य अतिथि भावे मुख्यमंत्री मोहन माझी जोग देबे। जहाँ बड़ खबर वर्तमान सामना को आसुची जे भुवनेश्वर वर्तमान महाकाशचारी शुभांशु शुक्ला उपस्थित रहिछन्ति एवं तांकर आगमन जेभଳି भावे होइछि एक घरे स्कूल ये वार्षिक विज्ञान और प्रजुक्ति विद्या मेला रही से मेलार से जोग देइछन्ति। छोट छोट पिलांकु अनेक किछि शिक्षा मध्य देउछन्ति। सेमानक मेलरे समय बिताइछन्ति महाकाशचारी शुभांशु। छात्र छात्री को महाकाश यात्रार जिभଳି तांकर रहितला से यात्रा तार मध्य सफल कहानी से विस्तृत भावे वर्णना करिछन्ति। एही कार्यक्रम में जहाँ सूचना रही भुवनेश्वर अंतर्गत ये सरकारी और बेसरकारी विद्यालयर शताधिक छात्र छात्री रही मेला। मेला रे निज निजर चमत्कारिता देखाई पार गोटे सुजोग छात्र छात्री को मिली। आउ ता सहित महाकाशचारी जिते कि शुभांशु निजे आसी उपस्थित रहउछन्ति छात्र छात्री गहन में शुभांशु ठारू अनेक किछि शिक्षा पाइबार गोटे प्रकार सुजोग मिली छात्र छात्री को यह मेला माध्यम जहाँ सूचना रही कार्यक्रम में मुख्य अतिथि भावे मुख्यमंत्री मोहन माझी जोग देबे। दृश्य आप देखिपुंट किभली भाव रही छात्र छात्री मेल शुभांशु कौन सबू छात्र छात्री सहित कथबार्ता कौन शिक्षा दे सबको नहीं आलोचना कर रश्मिता दास आम सहित जोड़ी गले सीनियर रिपोर्टर।
Let me tell you an anecdote from my flight. When I went for the mission, I have been a fighter pilot most of my life. So I thought that I know this feeling, when engines light up beneath you, when you get that sudden force, acceleration. I thought that I know this very well. And this is what it will feel like. But when the 9 engines on the Falcon 9 rocket ignited, I can tell you everything I knew just flew right out of the window. It was such a powerful experience. It was almost like, the same feeling that you get when you see your question papers in exam. All the preparation that you have, it just flies out of the window. It was almost exactly like that. And from that moment onwards, till the time you come back, everything is new. You know each and everything because you trained for it, but the environment has changed. And we had with us my commander, Dr. Peggy Whitson from the United States, who is the most experienced American astronaut. She has spent around 695 days in space already, which is a lot. We actually used to joke that she breaks the record of some of the satellites which have been launched in space. So when we got into space, we were very excited, just like you, like kids. We wanted to go around, do backflips, do somersault, and go to the window, come up, go up, come down, everything. We wanted to try everything. And she told us several times, take it slow. Don't move too fast. Don't move your head too fast because you will not feel good. Many times she told us. But who listens in this situation? Nobody cares. So we were still going ahead and doing everything that we wanted to do. And within 10 minutes, all 3 of us, me and my 2 other counterparts from Poland and Hungary, all of us were sitting with our head in our hands, with a headache, with the space fog, exactly what she had told us. So my advice, when adults tell you to do something, please listen. Most of the time it is for your own good, even though it may stop you from having fun. Okay, so I am being told that it will take another 5 minutes for this to be resolved. So I would not share this, I would like to show you the presentation. So why not, let's do something. Let me answer some of the questions that you have in the meantime. So if you have, please shoot, and I would love to answer the questions, and then we will start the presentation.
Good morning, sir. Sir, I am Astronaut of the line. Sir, for a recent school exhibition, I prepared a satellite constellation concept called Precision, focused at helping farmers using remote sensing data. Sir, my question to you is, what do you think is more important for future India? Remote sensing satellites and space infrastructure dedicated to India's development, or a dedicated fleet of launch rockets to launch India's future? Which one do you think is more important?
What is the second thing? Dedicated fleet of
Launch rockets.
So, to have a constellation of satellites, you will need launch rockets for them to be deployed. So, I think you will have to develop both to have this ecosystem. But the idea is great, and I think a lot of work is already happening to have a sort of constellation which can give you regular data to better understand of what is happening on ground and better plan agriculture in your country. So, I think it is already in progress, but I think you will need both, not just one. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, can I ask you because a personal question related to me?
Please.
Sir, what skills do you think that a person needs to work in ISRO as a rocket scientist?
I don't think you need any specific skills to work anywhere in the world. The single most important skill that you need is discipline. That is the only thing that you need wherever you are. It doesn't matter.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Hrithika. My question is to you, sir. As many students are passionate about space science and want to build a career on that, what are the steps we can take right now to build a strong foundation for a career in space science?
That's a great question. Thank you. I think as a country we are on a path where we will need a lot of space scientists and space researchers in the future. And what you need to do is develop a curious mind, and develop the problem solving skills. Because essentially when you talk about space exploration, you are talking about solving problems that you don't even know what the problems are. So the critical skill that is required is a problem solving skill. Doesn't matter what the problem is. How do you approach the problem? How do you get from point A to point C? Figuring out the steps in between. That is the single most important skill that you would need. And of course, a solid foundation in the basic subjects of, the STEM subjects that is required. That would be required. Thank you.
I want to be an astrophysicist and an astronaut when I grow up. So I wanted to ask you that when we go to space, due to the microgravity, our vestibular system in our mind are confused. So how do you maintain spatial orientation in space?
You don't actually. In the initial few days, you don't maintain spatial orientation. You are lost. You don't understand what is up, what is down. You are confused. And the body gradually gets used to this new environment and understands what is up and down. So in the space station, there are visual markings, either it is numbering or color coding, which tells you this is up, this is down, this is left, this is right, because your body doesn't really feel it. So your vestibular system does get compromised, but over 4-5 days, your body understands that this is the new normal and you start finding that okay. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Meenakshi. I have a question for you. What was the challenging part of adjusting life in microgravity?
Lot of parts, actually everything was challenging in the initial few days. Your body is not really used to that environment, and you have headaches, you become slow, your head becomes swollen, you have congestion, you don't feel hungry, you have backache. All these things happen in the first few days when you go to space. But again, your body understands, and within 5 to 6 days you get adapted to this new environment, and then it becomes alright. It becomes everything is okay.
Okay, sir. One more question. How do you sleep in gravity?
You actually sleep in air in gravity. There is no bed. You have a sleeping bag. You go inside the sleeping bag, and then you can choose to sleep on the floor, on the ceiling, on the wall, wherever you want.
we build a better structure like orbital rings or a Dyson swarm?
Sorry?
Can we build better structures like a Dyson swarm or orbital rings?
I think Sci International is feeding something else to these kids. Somewhere.
A Dyson swarm is used to harness the energy.
I know what a Dyson sphere is. I'm just saying that I was not expecting it from you. Yes, I think we can, but we are not at the stage yet. The closest thing that we have is the Starlink constellation, which has about 7,000, 8,000 satellites around the Earth. But if we have to build a Dyson sphere, it will be of a much larger dimension.
Sir, and what about orbital rings?
They are all in theoretical concepts right now. Nothing has been demonstrated yet. I think as we move forward with these space stations, all these concepts will be explored. So maybe you will, when you grow up, will probably get us an orbital ring sometime in the future.
And what about forming an entire planet?
Sorry?
What about terraforming an entire planet?
I'm not able to make out.
What about terraforming an entire planet like
Terraforming, yeah. Again, it's a theoretical concept, and I'm sure you have heard of the concept of terraforming Mars to make it livable, of changing the entire things. Yes, lasers, nuclear explosions, whatever. But these are all theoretical concepts. We don't know what the impact are going to be if we try to terraform a planet. Okay, I have my presentation back up. Can we go ahead and we go through this and thereafter take on the questions? Okay. Okay, let me skip over a few slides because I've already talked about some of them. Okay, let's start from my mission itself. So as I told you, when I was launching, I felt I knew everything, I understand everything. But it was not so. When the ignition happens, the force is so powerful that your body has never seen it. It has never experienced that. And that is from my background. I have seen some of these forces during my flight. You are going from 0 kilometers per hour to 28,500 kilometers per hour in 8.5 minutes. That is a huge acceleration and a sustained acceleration for a long time. And your body feels it. So right now when all of you are sitting on the chairs, you are also feeling acceleration, gravity, 1g, 9.8 meters per second square. But when you increase this, your body experiences that force. And if that force is from your head to toe, which happens in fighter plane, then all your blood, it goes down from your head and it tries to go down. And if you continue, you would black out, and if you persist, you may also become unconscious. It happens sometimes in flying. When you get too excited and you pull too much of G's, you become unconscious, and then again after some time you wake up and you start flying. But in the space capsule, you are lying on your back, so you experience G through your chest, in which case your lungs get compressed and you cannot breathe. So you have to breathe through your stomach. And that is a very different type of force that is there on your body. Why? Because in case of a space mission, if you abort at a high altitude, your body will experience somewhere around 18 to 20 Gs. That is the kind of force it will experience. So if you were to experience that force from head to toe, your spine will break. It will not be able to sustain. That is why you have to lie down. And I will show you how difficult or challenging it is in both the axes. These are all videos. How do you fix? Next. ये वीडियोस हैं बेटा, ये क्लिक करने पे प्ले होना चाहिए. Let me see if this is playing. This also doesn't play. There is no. I need to show these videos to them. Okay, I think we have again hit a roadblock somewhere. we will continue with the question and answer session. I want to show you these videos because there is no point me talking to you and not being able to show the experience that I've had. So can we please continue with the Q&A until the time they figure out? Okay, sorry. Look at this video.
सीधासलख दृश्य आपण देखुले किभली भाबे छात्र छात्री मानक सहित आलोचना करुछंती शुभांशु शुक्ला जतबेले कि से महाकाश को जाइथिले सेठारे किभली भाबे रहणी रहितला से यात्रा किभली भाबे रहितला कारण छात्र छात्री माने मध्ये खूब उत्साहित रहिछंती।
Which one do you think was more difficult? Second one? What was the G in the first one? What was the G in the second one? Any guess? Okay, let me tell you. First one was 8 Gs. What was the second one? Second one was lesser than the first. It was 7 Gs. That is the difference that is there in the axis. The second one was from your head to toe and the first one was through your chest. So it is very difficult. That is why in the space capsule you experience G from your chest. That is the difference that is there in the axis. The second one was from your head to toe and the first one was through your chest. So it is very difficult. That is why in the space capsule you experience G from your chest. So now after all this you get to space, and I have told you space is super fun. It is extremely exciting but very disorienting. When you get to space, you know, utilization of the space itself, the concept of space, it changes. I remember during my first few days, if there is a module, let's say a cylinder which is there, and if there was an NASA astronaut who was working on one of the experiments right in the center of the module, and I had to cross past. So while she was working, I stopped and I sat down. Not sat down, I kept floating, you know, on one side. I didn't cross because I didn't think that I can cross. Then the other NASA astronaut, she flew to me and asked me, "What are you doing, Shuks?" I said, "I want to go over the other side." And she asked me, "Then why don't you go?" And I showed her that she is standing in the way. So this other one, she started laughing. She took me by my hand and took me to the ceiling and said, "Walk here." And I started walking on the ceiling after that, you know, floating on the ceiling. So the way you understand space, the concept, it changes completely when you are up there. And it takes some time for your mind to register this. The other important thing that happens is the concept of microgravity itself. I am sure with the kind of questions that you have been asking, you know that in space it is not that gravity is not present, it is there. But it is because you are in a free fall that you don't experience gravity. So you are always falling. So if I am falling all the time and I am holding something and I let it go, it will stay there, it will not fall. Like if I was to hold this mic and leave it be, it will stay here. But your mind doesn't understand that. So you don't want to let go of things. So if I was to leave it, it would stay there, but your mind doesn't want to believe it. So what happened in the initial few days was that if I had to leave something, I would ask my crewmates, can you please hold it for me? And they were also first time travelers, so they would also hold it and stand there right next to me. And all of us are floating together, nothing is going to fall, but they would also stand, float there. Look at this video, this is a demonstration of how things float in space and how they don't fall. कुछ चीज़ें माइक्रोग्रेविटी में बहुत आसान होती है, जैसे कि लेंस चेंज करना. चलिए देखते हैं. आप किसी भी चीज़ को निकाल के ऐसे ही छोड़ सकते हैं. So how many of you felt when I was leaving that it will fall? So after a few days, about 7 to 8 days, you become really used to this concept. You understand that you can leave things, it is okay, and then you can come back to it. The problem is you get used to this concept and you come back to Earth. So things don't float on Earth. So I remember when I came back the first night, I was working on something on my laptop, replying to emails, and instinctively I closed my laptop, took it to the side and left it. Very, very quick course correction, instant feedback that this will not work here. But the important aspect is that the mind is really a very powerful tool. It can make you believe things that are not necessarily true. And that is what happens. So again, it takes a few days for your mind to realize that you are back in gravity. You have to adjust to this concept here. The other concept which is very interesting is the concept of weightlessness. There is no weight in microgravity. And because of this, space station was built, because heavy equipment was transferred later on, and you can lift a lot of heavy equipment in space. But you have to be careful of the momentum, the mass. Mass is there, but there is no weight. So look at this video. This is my commander, Peggy Whitson. She is trying to push a big bag. This is a huge bag, and this is used to transport heavy equipment or cargo or payload racks inside the station. Look how careful she has to be. She is lifting it like it is nothing, but when it moves, it will move, and she has to be really careful.
Get another mass.
Okay. Move this bag.
The bag is almost her size, even bigger than her size.
You have to be very careful though, because you have to control the mass. So you don't move it too fast, because it can get away from you. What is it that we have in this bag?
I'll let you guess what's inside this heavy bag. Look at that. That's about 250 kgs of weight in that bag. But how easy it becomes to move it, but you have to be really careful. And this was how the astronauts could install the payload racks, the equipment, the heavy cargo that went later on in place and make the station what it is. Don't have a ball.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay.
ଆପଣ ଦେଖୁଥିଲେ ସିଧାସଳଖ ଏ ଦୃଶ୍ୟ ରହିଥିଲା ଶୁଭାଂଶୁ ଶୁକ୍ଲା ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱରରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଛାତ୍ରଛାତ୍ରୀଙ୍କ ସହିତ ଆଲୋଚନା କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ଯେତେବେଳେ କି ସେ ସ୍ପେସ୍ରେ ଥିଲେ ସେଠି କିଭଳି ଭାବେ ତାଙ୍କର ଜୀବନଚର୍ଯ୍ୟା ରହିଥିଲା କିଭଳି ଭାବେ ଏକ୍ସରସାଇଜ୍ ମଧ୍ୟ ସେଠାରେ କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ୁଥିଲା ଅବସ୍ଥାପନ କରିବା ପରେ ତାଙ୍କର କ'ଣ କ'ଣ ସବୁ ଚ୍ୟାଲେଞ୍ଜେସ୍ର ସମ୍ମୁଖୀନ ହୋଇଥିଲେ ଏ ସବୁ ବିଷୟବସ୍ତୁକୁ ନେଇ ଛାତ୍ରଛାତ୍ରୀଙ୍କ ସହିତ आलोचना करुले एवं आगकू मध्य आहुरी अनेक गवेषणा रही पिलामानंकर जेतु आग्रह उत्साह मध्य रहुछि ए सबकू नहीं निजर से सफल यात्रार कहानी को बखाणुले शुभांशु शुक्ला।